Yo, my Star Citizens and Noob Gamers, welcome back to another episode of Star Citizen with me, Minix. And in today's episode, we're on part 4 of What Does It Earn? And this is just going to be a summary of all the 3 things that we did, which was cargo running, salvage, and mining. Those videos are available if you want to watch those, but this is going to be a summary. So we hope you like this video, guys. Run the intro. So a little bit about what to get through here, guys. The code dropping down again is my code. If you're new to Star Citizen, when they do these free flies, which will be coming up soon, you will be able to use my code and get in the game for free, and they'll give you some ships for free, but that will probably be around a week that you get to use it. And then what you do is when you buy the game, using that code or your new account that you've created with that code, you will get 5,000 credits when you start the game, and that will push me up in the rankings as well and give me goodies as well. So it really does help that, guys. So I will start using other people's codes again at some point. I'm just been really busy with just trying to get some content down. And the names running across the bottom are the people that have joined us on YouTube, but they become YouTube members. Really appreciate you guys. Absolutely love that you guys have stuck with us. And a massive shout out to all those long-term subscribers to the channel. I really appreciate every one of you guys as well. So let's get into this one, guys. So this is part 4, and this is going to be a summary of the 3 things that we did, which was cargo running, mining, and salvage. So I'm just going to go over them, and there'll be some footage in the background playing as well over time, and just sort of summarize what we went through. If you want to watch the videos, I'm going to put a card up in the top now, whichever way it is, and that will have the 3 videos there. So let's get into this one. Cargo. So with cargo, I used a Spirit C1, and I just did 2 runs. We could have maybe done 3 runs, but I went for something like Laranite and Beryl, and the reason for that was because there's no longer the drugs or device that you can used to be able to get. And now with this new loading by hand thing that's just come along, we now have to sort of get the cargo in as quick as we can. And so when I did these tests, it was over an hour. How much can we earn in an hour? And so with the C1, I was able to get, I think, around 8 boxes. I think it was something like that. And it worked out about 104 cargo. Even though the C1 only does 64 cargo, I was able to get about 104, 106 or something in there. And I ended up doing 2 runs. I went from either Lawville to Microtech, and then with some Laranite, and then from Microtech with some Beryl back to Lawville. We could have maybe stuck around Lawville area. Not Lawville, but Hurston, and maybe done 3 runs and made around 150,000. But what we ended up making was just over 103,000 on that, and that was in an hour. And so the footage of all that's playing. So that one was really good. But like I said, with this now, this was all standard stuff. It wasn't like upgrading any components or anything like that, or going for different types of cargo. Like this is just the basics. So Laranite, and the reason for that is there was 30,000. Same with the Beryl, there's 30,000 stock. Rather than going for something like gold where you might not be able to get the stock, I wanted to be able to do this with a fair comparison of something where you're going to be able to get that stock, and Laranite and Beryl was those ones. So like I was saying, if you want to, you can push that further. You could go for things like gold. They did used to do Vice, but I think when 4.0 comes out, they may have Vice in Pyro that you'll be able to sort of get from there. That's sort of what the talk is at the moment. You can't do that. So currently we're just having to go to these outposts where you have to then hand load. And so having a ship where you can just throw in 6 to 8 boxes or something like that for around 100 cargo is really good. And so we made around 50,000, between 30 and 50,000 on those runs, depending on the stock. You can go to different places and have a higher amount, so you can buy it for a lower amount and sell it at a higher amount, depending on places you go. But that could be something like getting it from Area 18 and then going over to Orison or something like that. But then the return trip, it's whether you can get something for that return trip coming back. But the other option is just to stay in the local area like Hurston or something like that and just make 30, 40,000 just going back and forth around that. So that's that. So we made 103,000 on that, which was a good benchmark. And then we went on to mining. And again, what I did here with mining, I just took a basic prospector, I hired it, so I wasn't able to change the lasers, I wasn't able to put any new components on it or anything like that. And I just went from Mikkel 5, that's where I went because I like that area, just out of the space station, just finding rocks as whatever rocks I can find, and then going from that list from Red Monster and the top tier, the 4 top tier, so gold, Taranite and Bexalite, and then obviously if you find Quantanium, that's a good one too. By doing that, again, I just went for basic rocks. I tried keeping it within that top tier 4 and was able to do 2 runs. And I had to put this on a fast one because we was doing this in the PTU. So I had to do this on a fast one. And so I had to do this. I had to put it on a fast one. And so I ended up paying 10,000 more for each of the refines. Now, I think if I'd have just sold the ore, I could have made, I think, 70,000 on it. And maybe done a 3rd run and made 100,000. So sort of in line with what we did with the cargo running. But I ended up refining it. I ended up having to pay 14,000 for the refine of both of those each. So that was 30,000 that we had to then take out the profits. But we could have done it on a Dinix refine, and that would have took 24 hours. The reason I couldn't is because I was on the PTU and there tended to be an update every night, so it would end up wiping it out and I wouldn't have got back to it in time to be able to go and sell it. So you sort of keep that in the calculation that the 10,000 that we paid extra or 20,000 for both loads can be taken out of that. We made 170,000 on around 170,000, I think it was 169,000 on the cargo that we got. And so again, if you take the 30,000 out, it was 140,000. But again, if we'd have done the Dinix one, it would have been 160,000. So more than we did with the C1. But again, if we'd have done 3 runs with the C1 instead, we would have made about 150,000. So them two pretty much even. And it was just a bog standard ship that we rented out with no things on it. So again, with the cargo, we could have got a different shape, bigger ship and more crew or whatever, or we could have gone for gold, or like I said, different things that we could have gone for, but didn't. We just went for the bog standard stuff. So there was potential to make more with the cargo, same as there was potential to make more with the mining. Like the mining is the one that's the lucky one. With the cargo, it's whether there's the stock. It's not really going on luck. It is a bit of luck whether the stock is there, but it's not going on luck because you're going to calculate it yourself. Is it even worth it? So with that being said, the mining is based on luck. You could go out of the space station and instantly go into a Quantanium rock. And say if you got 10 Quantanium, there's 250 grand in that just alone. So it's the mining is all about luck. It's what you can run into in that time. But we just did basic stuff. I think we just got some Bexalite, some gold here and there, and then mainly just the second tier stuff at around 2,000 per unit. And we ended up making 170,000. After the costs, it was 150-ish thousand. Could have been around 160,000. So sort of in line with the cargo. Again, you could make more by luck of running into rocks, or you could, there was many rocks that we did go into and couldn't break them down because we only had the bog standard prospector. Now we could change the mining head of the prospector to something like a Helix 1, which is going to give you a better power. And with that, you can then put onto modules. So we could have add filter modules, so we got less of the inert materials. And you could also then put on new, the mold bags, which are 48 instead of 36 in your cargo hold, so you would have been able to hold more. So again, but because we just took the bog standard one, we made 160,000. There is ways of making more, and then again, it's all down to luck as well of what you're hitting. And so them two pretty much even. And so with them two, it depends on what you want to do. Do you want to constantly be moving around and grabbing cargo and loading it, or do you just want a relaxing one where you just go on looking for rocks and then mining them? A bit of a skill game with getting the bar into the green area. And so the final one we did was Salvage. Now, Salvage isn't luck. It is based on numbers. Again, we was at Mikkel 5 and we went out in the Vulture. And I think Salvage is probably the more solid one of the 3. So we made 170,000 with the Salvage. And we went out of Mikkel 5. And all we do is look for numbers which I think are multiple of 2,000. Someone said in the comments it's multiples of 2,000. So you're looking for something multiples of 2,000. So if you see an 8,000, a 10,000, 12,000, 80,000 or whatever in your scans, you know that's going to be those pieces or those panels, and that's the best things to go for. You could pick up jobs on cargo, and you could pick up jobs on salvage, but we didn't pick up any of those jobs because I wanted it to be just off our own back. Now, like I was saying, it's the most stable one, salvage, because you're going to get to those panels. You're going to probably take around the same amount of time to. It's quite quick to find them, so you're gonna take the same amount of time to harvest those panels, and then when you're heading back to wherever it is you're going to go and sell these things, you're going to have to take them out of the hopper and put them, stack them up, and that within the hour, we was able to do the panels, get them out of the hopper, and then sell them in that hour. And we made again 170,000 on that, but that one is a more stable one. Like I said, that's probably what you are going to earn in the hour. There is no way of making it. You could maybe get bigger salvage heads. You could get bigger salvage heads, but then you're going to run out of material quicker, and then you're going to have to maybe find some more. You could do that and then put some off-grid stuff like we did with the C1, and maybe, you know, get another 10 maybe boxes you could do if you've got that stock there to salvage. So you could earn a bit more, but more than likely it is just going to be the basic of 170,000 for salvaging. There's not really much more scope in that hour because it's not about luck. You're not going to find something that's going to have more of it on that you can get. The rate is the rate. As you're salvaging, that rate is just constant. That's the rate, unless you change mining heads, and then there is more, and you are able to use the bigger head, which takes out more content, but you don't get more content. It's quicker at doing it, but you don't get more content. Basically, it just strips the panels really quick. So again, that one, like, for me, is just, that's the solid one. That's the solid base that we're looking at. So that was 170. So 150, 160, 170. The salvage earned the more, but the mining has the prospect of earning a lot more. Like I said, if you bumped into a quantanium rock, just getting 10 from a quantanium rock, which is 1/3 of your load, could net you 250 grand. So because quantanium sells at 25 or just short of 25,000 per unit. So if you got 10 of them, luckily you'd earning 250 grand. So absolutely obliterating the other two. So the mining is the one that's got the more potential if you hit lucky. The cargo has got more potential if you take the chance and go and get gold or something like that, or vice when that does come back in. And salvage, you're earning about 117. You're not really going to sort of get more than that unless you go out into something like the reclaimer and work as a team. So that's my takedown of it. They're all about the same. It depends what you want to do. Do you want to go for cargo and take your chance with gold? It's all about what gameplay you want at that time. Do you want a relaxing one like with salvage? Do you want a relaxing one with a little bit of skill work in the mining? Or do you want to just go running cargo and be a cargo runner for a bit? So yeah, for me, they're all earning about the same, which is good. What has happened here is with the new mechanics of cargo, where you have to load it in yourself, they've brought cargo from being the most lucrative in an hour, because you could just go down. I could make 4 or 5 trips with cargo and earn 50, 60,000 because it was just instant load. And because it's instant load, you're taking that time where you're not having to load it in yourself. And so you could have earned a lot more. So what they've done is they've brought that back in line with the mining and the salvaging, where it's not based on luck with the cargo. So that's my thoughts on it. Let me know your thoughts, guys. That's the roundup of it. They're all earning about the same. It just depends on what type of gameplay you want to do at the time. So yeah, so we hope you like this video, guys. If you did, don't forget to hit that button, tickle that like button, hit the bell and subscribe notification, guys. We'll see you out in the verse.